The Merriam-Webster definition of a firefighter is a person who fights fires. That definition is followed by a colon and then the word fireman. It's no surprise that firefighting is a male-dominated career field. Not many women have a lot of success getting started in this career. I, however, am one of the women who have been lucky enough to get my foot in the door. I realized from a young age that I wanted to be a firefighter. My father, uncle, and grandfather have all been firefighters my entire life. I grew up in and out of firehouses. It wasn't until my junior year of high school that I truly realized that this was a career I wanted to consider. After graduating, I went through fire, and then EMT basic, and finally paramedic school. Throughout the process, I learned the strength and determination that it takes to become a firefighter, let alone to be a woman in this male-dominated career field. There were several reasons I chose to become a firefighter paramedic, and along with that, there were several reasons that I felt that I may not succeed. But all in the end, there were several reasons I chose to continue my pursuit for the career that I love. To begin, there were several reasons I chose to become a firefighter paramedic. I came home to the firehouse. I grew up in and out of firehouses, and I loved every minute of it. In March of 1997, when I was born, my dad was working at Mifflin Township Station 134 in Gahanna. Rather than take me home to our house in Plain City, my parents took me to the fire station first. With multiple family members in the fire service, I'm no stranger to the firehouse. Even in Plain City, where my dad and now I didn't start working part-time until much later on in my life, I've been told many stories of me going in and out of that firehouse. Climbing on fire trucks became my second nature. I spent every third Christmas at the firehouse, along with Thanksgiving, Easter, and even my own birthday. My whole life revolved around those brick walls and concrete engine bays. I've always loved the idea of helping others, and I realized that some of my personality traits that I had could be helpful in the fire service. I've always been a go-to to a lot of people around me, whether someone needs help with a project, or just needs a friend. I also realized that there was a push for women to get started in the fire service, and I thought that I might be a good fit. I've always been athletic and in pretty good shape, and I played sports all the way through high school. And in addition to that, I've always been considered extroverted and pretty good at making conversation, so I thought that might help me in this career field. Now that I've explained why I thought I might be a good fit for the job, let me tell you why I thought I might not succeed. There were several reasons I thought I might not succeed as a firefighter. Once I got into fire school, I realized I was in nowhere near as good a physical condition as I originally thought. And just because I was active in high school and played sports did not mean that I had the strength that I needed to complete the job. Some of the skills we were doing in school caused me to use new muscle groups that I had never really worked out or conditioned, and therefore I was coming home sore from class almost every day. I realized that I needed to get stronger to keep up with the men. Once I got into paramedic school, I also realized that I might not be smart enough to become a successful and competent paramedic. Information and skills were coming easily to my classmates, and I was struggling to keep up. I wasn't understanding concepts as quickly as everyone else, and my test grades began to suffer. I began to truly doubt myself at that point. And while I thought I was extroverted and personable, patient assessments in EMT basic school caused my confidence to plummet. I realized I may not have the confidence and personality I once thought I had to be comfortably interact with patients in my community. Every time I walked into a patient's room in clinical, I became a shaking, nervous mess. I always forgot to ask vital questions, and I instilled no sort of comfort or confidence in my patient. I realized I needed to work on my self-confidence if I wanted to keep up in the world of EMS. Now that I've explained my hesitations about continuing in this career, let me tell you why I chose to stick with it anyway. There were several reasons I continued my pursuit for the career that I love. My parents raised me to never be a quitter. They made sure I had a good sense of work ethic from a very young age, and that I knew that I had the ability to, even when doubting myself, to turn everything around. This was especially true when I hated what I was doing, namely playing a sport that I didn't want to play. My parents made sure that I stuck with it through the end of the season because I made a commitment to myself and my team to be involved. I used that same mindset to push myself through my schooling and to not quit. I made a commitment to myself to get my paramedic and fire certifications, so I did. I started a fitness regimen to help build muscle and work with my overall body strength. And as I got stronger, I found it was easier to do the drills, and I felt better about my ability to complete the job. I realized I was finally keeping up with the men in my class. In paramedic school, I studied harder and spent more hours focused on learning things vital to understanding patient care. I began to invest time in not only understanding my material, but how it applies to real-life patient care. I started study groups with my classmates, chose studying over TV and other activities, and put my focus on my goal of becoming a competent and successful paramedic. In addition to learning the material, I began asking to be put in in-charge situations where I may have been previously uncomfortable. I realized the more I forced myself to be in charge and push myself out of my comfort zone, the easier I found patient care to be. I scheduled more patient contact hours than were necessary just to make sure I had plenty of hands-on time with my patients to remove the fear from the process. As I built on my confidence in speaking to patients, I began realizing I was asking them all the vital questions that I forgot before. In conclusion, it took a lot of internal consideration for me to decide that firefighting was truly the career that I wanted to pursue. I spent many hours just contemplating the risks that I was willing to take and how much I was willing to sacrifice for those around me. I think having a certain amount of doubt in myself helped me become more determined to reach my goal. Building my confidence and becoming a better version of myself pushed me to complete my goal and to be the best firefighter paramedic that I can be. Throughout the process, I learned the strength and determination that it takes to become a firefighter paramedic, let alone to be a female in this male-dominated career field. I hope to have a long and prosperous career in the fire service. I already love what I do, and I can't wait to see where I end up in 30 years. Thank you.